making huge donations to help everybody, as much as possible. So my sentiments and my heart goes out to the people who've lost their homes, the structures. I mean, just the other night, in my town where I'm living in Bay Roberts, I was outside actually removing some solar lights because apparently the batteries in those can pose a threat in the extreme hot conditions. And I could hear the sirens, and I looked, and sure enough, I saw the fire truck rushing up my street, and I know how that felt. Thank God that was a false alarm. It was smoke that someone had called in, but it happened to be a cloud. But it was very frightening. And as you know, neighbouring Spaniards Bay, which is also in the district of Harbour Grace, Porty Graves, there was a brush fire happened there on Moultrie Hill in the area of Browns Road. And I just want to thank those first responders, the aerial response team, the Spaniards Bay Department, of course, were the first to respond. And thank God they managed to get that out very quickly. It could have been a very, very bad situation. The situation of that fire where it was centered and Rectory Avenue there, just behind Holy Redeemer Church, that could have been very bad for a lot of people in a quick matter of time. So I just can't. This is the first. I know, Patty, you've lived out west in the country, so wildfires are something that those residents are used to. But this is unprecedented here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and unfortunately, it looks like it's becoming reality of what we're going to be having to deal with in our summer seasons. But thank God for our first responders and everyone, absolutely everyone, who was helping everybody in need at this time, and those on the front lines.
Fair enough, and I think we all echo those sentiments. What exactly happened where you heard the fire trucks coming? Can you just give me a bit more information?
In the information, now that was a couple of nights ago. I was actually up in my yard, and I could hear sirens. I could hear a fire truck, and where I'm located, I could actually see down through the town, and I could see the truck, and I said, "Oh my gosh, that's coming up my street," and it certainly it came up. And it rushed around, but it was a false alarm, thank God. I mean, it was smoke clouds that people called in, and I mean, a number of messages circulated the community about that, but it happened to be a false alarm. But it just goes to show, I mean, how nerve-wracking this is. No one is safe. I mean, this is happening on all ends. We know Holyrood just went through. I have a lot of family. My parents live in Holyrood, so I mean, we've been dealing with that, and how that feels for those residents there. CBS. We know what's happening at Paddy's Pond. I mean, just nobody's safe. What I mean is that no one is exempt from this. We all have to be on guard, but it's a feeling like no other, like we felt before. But I can't say enough for those people. I spoke with a fire chief actually yesterday from one of my detachments, and he said, he was pretty emotional. He said, every time we go on that call, he said, ultimately we're willing to die, and they are. I mean, they are the most courageous volunteers in the world. I've said that. When everybody's rushing away to seek shelter, it's these men and women who are running into the danger for everyone else. So thank God for them, and I can't say enough to thank them for the work that they're doing.
Hear, hear. I don't want to be insensitive, because I know fighting the fires and protecting structures and people's life and limb, of course, number one priority today. But we've also heard from the province, from Premier Hogan, talk about requesting Ottawa to expedite EI benefits for those impacted. Then there's going to be a conversation, maybe it's already begun amongst you and your cabinet colleagues, about for operations business-wise that have been shut down, whether it be like in the bush itself and or small businesses working and living under evacuation alerts and orders. Is that compensatory conversation, has it begun?
Well, as you know, right now these are unprecedented times. As we know, the Premier's busy, and along with the ministers that are involved. But as the Premier has said, the request has been put to Ottawa, as we know, for financial compensation. We know EI is one of those topics. And again, those conversations are ongoing, but I do know the commitment is there. The Premier has made it very clear, and of course she has the support of all of our caucus, cabinet included, that people have to be looked after. These people are being displaced, for out of their own control, for conditions beyond their control, as we know. So we've seen this kind of disaster before. Just not that long ago, we almost lost Port aux Basques, as you remember, in the flooding and the hurricane. So these weather patterns that we're seeing are unprecedented, and we're going to have to respond to them. But I am very confident that the commitment is there to do what we can for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Appreciate the time this morning, Minister. Thank you. Thank you. Stay safe. You too. Bye-bye. As Pam Parsons, Minister Parsons, the Liberal member for Harbour Grace, Portgrave.